So welcome to Samples and Populations problem 2.3 for investigation 2. And in front of me here is a data sheet, a database. And in this problem, we have a list of 100 students. They're numbered. And what we have is the number of hours of sleep they got last night and the number of movies they watched in the previous week. So hours of sleep, 11 and a half last night, 14 hours in the last week. 2 hours of sleep last night, 8 movies in the last week. So you can see each person down the list. And so some people watch a lot of movies, some people don't watch very many, some people get a lot of sleep, some people don't get much. But what we're going to do is use this data to help us learn how to choose randomly. Because random actually gives us the best opportunity to get a sample. We don't want to look at all 100 because that's a lot. What we'd like to do is just choose a small group out of this whole population, all 100, and see if that gives us enough information to make predictions or to get information. And so the trick is, how do I pick randomly from this group? And some people think, well, if I just pick this person and this person and this person and this person, and so I just go down the list and kind of try to pick randomly that's random, but it's not. Because as long as I'm involved in the decision of which ones to pick, I'm not actually giving every person on the list an opportunity to be chosen. Because random doesn't necessarily mean spread out equally over the whole page. If I just put dots kind of equally spread out, that's actually more systematic than it is random. Random could be anybody on the page. And so we have a tool in our classroom that will actually do that. The graphing calculator has a key or a button that will allow us to pick randomly from a set of numbers. And so it's designed to do that. It's like it's got built-in dice, like if you were to roll dice. And the button on the calculator is the one that says math. So right here below the alpha, you have the second key, the yellow key, the green alpha key, and then the math key. And if you're using a TI 84 or a 73, any of those, they're just different colors. They are in the same location in this case. So the math button, when I push the math button, there's a list across the top of different mathematical things I can do, fractions, decimals in this case. If I move over to the next one with the right arrow, the number allows me to find absolute values to round off things. There's minimum, maximum. Some of those other things are in this one as well. And the third one, which is a whole bunch of geometric sort of functions that it will do. And the last one is the one we're interested in, the PRB. And on a TI-73, you don't have this one. The probability is the last one. And so probability, which makes sense if we're trying to do something random, we want to have probability be the thing that makes decisions for us. We want to take ourselves out of the decision of who gets picked and let something that doesn't actually think about it do it, which is what the calculator is going to do. It's like putting a bunch of numbers in a hat and pulling one out, or in a bin and something like that. So we're going to go down. This first one is random, but we don't want that. We actually want to go down to this one that says random int, which is a random integer. Integers are numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whole numbers, or negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 2, negative 3, but we only want the positive numbers. We're actually going to tell it what numbers to choose from. So it's like we're going to tell it what's in the hat, and then it's going to pick numbers out of the hat. So I'm going to go down to this one, number 5. So probability, number 5. So I go back, I push the math button right here, went over to PRB, and then down to rand int, this one, and hit enter. I'm going to go 1. I'm going to actually tell it now what numbers to do this with, starting with a 1, and then above the 7 key on this calculator, or to the left of the 4 key on a TI-73, there's a button somewhere that has a comma on it. So we're going to put a comma in. So now it's 1, 100. Going to close the parentheses. So now I've told it to pick a random integer between 1 and 100. And when I hit enter on my calculator, it will pick a number. In this case, 98 was the first number it chose. And so what that means is if I'm going to use that, then person number 98, this person right here, is the first one that got chosen. So, and that person watched one movie last week. And so what I'm going to do with that now is this person was chosen, and what we're going to do in this part of the investigation is we're going to make a line plot. So that person number 98 that I picked watched one movie. So I listed on my sheet here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the numbers of movies watched. And I'm going to take a sample size of 30. So I'm only going to pick 30 people off of this list, not all 100. I'm choosing randomly 30 of them. And the first one I picked had watched one movie, so I'm going to put an X right there above the 1. It's called a line plot, so I'm just going to keep track of my answers this way. So I'm going to go back to my list and my graphing calculator, and I'm going to just hit enter again. Now once I've got this started, it will just do that for me, and now it picked, when I hit enter, person number 3. So I'm going to go to person number 3, so this person here who watched 3 movies. And I'm going to go to my line plot, and on my line plot I'm going to mark an X just above the 3. And so now I'm going to actually just keep going until I have chosen 30 people off the list. So I'm going to hit enter again, and now person number 84 was chosen. So I'm going to go to person number 84 on my list, and that person watched 0 movies. So I'm going to go back to this sheet and mark an X above the 0. So far I've chosen 3 people. One of them watched no movies, one watched 1, and one watched 3 movies. So again, I'm just making a line plot of my results, keeping track of what I got. So I'm going to use my calculator again. And person number 62 was chosen this time. And this person watched 4 movies. So I'm going to back over here to this and mark an X above the 4. Calculator again. Now person number 21 was chosen. So I'm going to go to person number 21 and see how the calculator it's just completely choosing randomly from the list every time. And this person watched 1 movie. So I'm going to go to my page and mark an X above the 1. And so now there's actually 2 people in that group. And I picked 5 so far. And then person number 99 is the next one my calculator's chosen. So right here. And that person watched 3 movies. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the 3. And then keep going. Do this again. Person number 73 just got chosen, and they watched 2 movies. And so you can see how I'm just randomly picking, well actually I'm not randomly picking, my calculator is randomly picking people off of my list. Person number 31 is my next one, and they watched 2 movies. And so you can see what I'm really building is sort of a trend to see what numbers of movies are commonly watched. So it's like our histogram that we were doing in the first investigation. This is a way of building data, in many ways a histogram, to find out. So I'm going to keep going. Person number 25. And the question always comes up, what if that person watched 1 movie? So we got person number 25, 1 movie. What if when I hit my calculator, a number comes up that I've already had? So person number 95 was the next one. So far that hasn't happened for me. Person number 95 watched 3 movies. So I'm going to mark the 3 here. And then next one, person number 93. Number 93. And see what the case is. Person number 93 watched 0 movies, so I'm going to mark it on 0. So keep going. Person number 5 is my next selection. And they watched 16 movies. Way over here. I think that's probably like what we think of as an outlier. See how most of the data is showing up over here, and 16 doesn't look like it's going to be something that's common to watch. And then person number 12. So far I haven't, that person watched 10 movies. So again, I'm just picking them off, just transferring them from one sheet to the next. 10 movies. Person number 70. So the idea, the rule is, if I'm going to, they've watched one movie, if I'm going to randomly pick people off of here, if my calculator picks the same person twice, I already have chosen that person, so I'm just going to ignore it if it happens. In fact, there it happened. See, because it's random. And if it's random, everybody always has the same chance of being picked. So person number 99, this is the first time it's happened for me. Person number 99, I had already picked, and so they're already in my data set. So I'm just going to move on, ignore that, and then pick again. Because everybody always has the same chance of being picked, even if they've already been picked. So it's going to, I'm just going to ignore that I've already got that one and pick again. Number 64. Person number 64, and that's 3 movies. I keep going on my chart, 3 movies. And then person number 32 watched 8 movies. So mark above the 8. And maybe I should check and see how many I have, because it's been a while since I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm a little more than halfway to my 30, so I'm going to keep going. Person number 9 watched 13. So I'm going to put a mark above my 13. Person number 100 just got picked, and they watched 2 movies. So I'm kind of moving along fast now. I think if you're doing this on your own at home and you've downloaded these worksheets, then you can pretty much just do this on your own. Person number 20 was my next pick. I want to try to get through this though, so you can see what I have when I'm done. Person number 20 watched 0. So you can see I'm building this data. Person number 40 is my next pick. And they watched 7. Mark above the 7. Person number 12, I already picked. So this is again a situation where I picked a 12 once already. So I'm just going to ignore that 12 and pick again. Person number 25, I already picked that person too. See again, it's random. So see, if I'm doing this random, I think I'm random when I'm picking, but I'm not. I would, avoid the number 25, and the calculator doesn't do that. It picks randomly every time. 86 is next. So person 86 watched 0 movies. And person number 38 watched 3 movies. And person number 60 watched 1 movie. Again, I'm just marking these on my sheet. Person number 61 watched 5 movies. And I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to check and see how many I have. Person number 8 watched 1 movie. And let's see what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I need 5 more. So person number 2 watched 8. Right here. And then person number 2, there's random. Person number 70. Already got that one too. Person number 71. Don't have that person, watched 0. Person number 89 watched 0. And I think think I need one more. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Two more. Person 38. Already picked that person. Person number 12. Already picked that person. Person number 46. That's a new one. 15 movies. And person number 99 already picked. Person number 70 already picked. Person number 55. That is someone I haven't picked yet, and they watched 2 movies. And there we are. And that's what random looks like. You can't predict where those numbers are going to be picked. That's what random means. There's no system, there's no regularity, there's groupings and clusters, but you don't know where those numbers are going to get picked because the calculator doesn't think about it. It just picks numbers. Literally like pulling numbers out of a hat or out of a bin or rolling dice. And so that's how I can pick randomly off of this sheet. Now once you have accomplished this part, it says student 2. What I need now to do is find another student who did this work and copy their sample here. So this is where you're going to copy from another student and then a third student. So you have your data, the data from a second student and a third student, and then you can compare how did that work. Did your random sample look like their random sample or like the third person's random sample? And we're going to compare the distributions. For me, the data is distributed all right in this area. There are a few over here, out here, but most of them are in the 0 to 3 movies per week range. And so that's your data cluster. It's distributed more so here than over in this way. And what you want to do is compare that to other students and what did they get in terms of their random sample. And so that's how we do problem 2.3A and B in this. Part C I'm going to do in a later lesson if you want to see how we're going to make a box and whisker plot with the hours of sleep data. But we'll use a similar system of choosing random numbers to do that. And so that's in a further lesson. So that's how you pick randomly from a list. You can't do it yourself. You can't sit and think, I'm just going to pick randomly. It just doesn't work because you would not pick randomly. You would pick numbers and spread them out, and you'd want to think that that somehow makes it equal, but it doesn't. Everyone in my list always had an equal chance of being picked by the calculator. And if you were to try to do it, you would not be able to do that equally. So you need some other way to choose randomly. So learn to use your graphing calculator to do that, and that will help you make good random samples.